What up, y'all? It's your man Abuamerican back with the brothers. What's going on, man? Assalamu alaikum.
Alhamdulillah. Wa alaikum salam.
We're back with the Syndicate. We have been gone for a long time, but we are back. Alhamdulillah. You know, at one point I was ready to quit. Ready to quit social media and whatnot, but you know what, man? I just can't spare you guys like that, man. I'm gonna make y'all suffer. So Abuamerican's back. We have a guest, like always. When we're here on the Syndicate, we got our brother Chris Abdurrahman Mango. MashaAllah, barakallahu feek. Welcome, ya akhi Kareem. Jazakallah khair.
Glad to be here, brother. Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
MashaAllah. Hey, let's just jump right into that, actually, bro. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, you're a new Revert, right?
Yes, of course. Love to. Yeah, pretty much. My name is Chris Mango, Abdurrahman Mango now. Been a new Muslim, about 3 months. Really kind of went in deep and been studying a lot. A lot of my friends are Muslim, so very lucky I'm not alone in the process. They've been guiding me well. Brother Mitchell especially really guided me in the right direction to seek knowledge and learn. A little background on me. I was a lifelong combat sports coach. As far as myself growing up, I've always heard from Muslim friends of mine, my fitra was aligned, and probably because I grew up in a really traditional household. My ethnic backgrounds are Italian, Albanian, and Persian. My dad was raised by basically Italian fascists, his uncles, his dad, and lived in a very, very traditional home. Growing up, most of my friends were Muslims. They always told me, you just simulate really well into Muslim culture. Chris, you're basically Muslim. And I'd flirted with the idea of actually converting or reverting, whatever we want to call it, in my teenage years. And to be honest with you, in retrospect, it was probably the slander of the media and just, the dunya's whole outlook on Islam that kept me from it.
Okay.
Basically, Brother Craig, I've listened to your story before. Similar to Brother Mitchell as well, basically was obsessed with the dunya, get money, get women. A lot of my principles were aligned, like I said, with Islam, except the discipline wasn't there as far as absorbing the dunya, absorbing all that it has to offer. I guess the good things were I was disciplined. I was friends with a lot of Muslims. Like I said, lifelong combat sports coach, always followed kind of a sunnah diet and lifestyle, but my relationship was to my wife was very traditional in that, she's fiercely loyal and obedient. And, but I would juggle multiple women, smoke, things like this. So, a few months ago, I had another son born and, meeting Brother Mitchell. Thank you. Alhamdulillah. And, met Brother Mitchell, and Brother Mitchell really kind of changed my perspective on Islam. And I realized, man, this is actually something that's beautiful that's been kept from me. Obviously it happens to a lot of us, and kind of delved in and realized, this is what I want to do, and kind of got rid of all the women, got rid of the weed, got rid of anything like that, alcohol, and been happier ever since. My wife reverted with me. She's from Mexico and raised Catholic and all that, but she's reverted with me. My older son, who's 9, has been coming with me to Juma every Friday, reading about Prophet Muhammad, all that. My newest son, like I said, when he was born, we had Azan and Akima in his ears, and it's been a beautiful experience the last 3 months, and been keeping out of the streets, kind of like you said, Brother Craig, kind of keeping to the home, the masjid, my business, and sleep better, feel better, and very excited for the journey moving forward. And alhamdulillah, I found it. It wasn't too late,
MashaAllah. So that's beautiful. MashaAllah. So let me ask you something. Since reverting to Islam, I like to use the term revert.
Sure.
Has there been any significant major change for you? I mean, outside of obviously your personal changes, but what I'm talking about is like external, like the way people treat you or whatever else, or how do people deal with you? Have you seen any significant change there?
I've been warmly welcomed by the Muslim world and the brothers at the masjid for sure. I've had some negative hate mail off Instagram. I sent, Brother Mitchell a couple of screenshots. We laugh about it. Some guys I knew that I trained that are pretty, devout Christians were very concerned about my reverting. That's about it. Saw one guy who was a veteran who unfortunately had lost his leg, and I could tell when he noticed my beard, he kind of gave me a funny look. But other than that, it's been very positive, very warm at the masjid. All my Muslim friends and brothers are very happy. Yeah, I can't say the positive is absolutely outweighs the negative. Anybody who's apprehensive about reverting or anything like that because they feel like an outsider, they really should not feel that way. It's the Muslim world is very warm and welcoming for sure.
Alhamdulillah, man. So you said you something about I heard something about, or did you say something about fighting? Yeah, you said something about fighting.
Yeah, I've been a lifelong combat sports coach. I own and was a head coach for years and years. Still own one of the largest MMA academies in the world, based in Texas. Of about 500, 600 members on a given month. Wow. I've been doing that for years. I've cornered in the UFC multiple times, been part of multiple camps, grew up wrestling and boxing. My dad really pushed that on me. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt under Carlos Gracie Jr., soon to be third degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But about 2021, thank you, brother. 2021, I had a lot of surgeries and kind of took a step back from that. Yeah. And alhamdulillah, I think that was kind of what led me to, one, meet Brother Mitchell, and two, meet Islam. So, Allah always has a plan for us. And at the time, I thought that was a negative. I can't train anymore like I used to. I can't teach anymore like I used to. But it's been a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, I actually have my black belt under the Machados. Higa Machado specific. I mean, Higa Machado didn't assign it to me. My coach did, Rasan Bass. But,
sure.
It's under the Machados. Yeah.
Those guys are great. I rolled with Carlos, had the pleasure of rolling with Carlos Machado when I was a teenager. Humbling experience, to say the least.
I can imagine. Nice. So, bro, that sounds like that sounds pretty spectacular, man. MashaAllah. And no. Let me not ask that question. So, a brother asked right here. I mean, but I think you kind of answered it already. Pop up and say, how did your react to you reverting and your partner's family?
Oh, great question. My partner's family, my wife, they were pretty, they were like, hey, if it's what you want to do, it's what you want to do. She had an aunt who was like, why are you covering up like that? And she was like, I choose to do this. It's, something our religion, it's mandatory. And her aunt was kind of like, well, he's not making you do it, is he? And she's like, I always follow him, but no, it's, God's making me do this. So that was one of the only ones. Believe it or not, the biggest critic was my mom. My mom is one of those old Italian ladies who, goes around at night in the house saying the prayers with the rosary beads. So that was the biggest one. Okay. But I had to explain I think she was confusing Islam with Hinduism, honestly. I think she thought
she be more diametrically
believe in Jesus as Messiah. We have many of the same prophets, things like that. But she was the biggest critic, and didn't like the fact that I had changed one of the rugs in my house that she really loved to an area with prayer rugs and things like that. But she's been warm because she's realized it's made me a better person. I don't go out. I don't get as angry. And so, I think if people have some aversion from their family or the partner's family, I've heard this a lot. If they see the positive changes, they should absolutely be warm to you over it. If they're having problems with you doing it, despite seeing the positive changes in your life, hey, not some misguided souls, as I call it.
Indeed. It's similar myself. My mother was apprehensive, but she wasn't against me becoming Muslim. But she was kind of like, oh, what's going to happen here? And then when I turned into a better person, she was actually like 100% behind it. $5 super chat from Grodor Eats, man. I love this brother to death. May Allah continue to reward you. This brother is one of the guys that's gotten close to me. I haven't met in person. Inshallah, I get a chance to meet him in person. Always been supportive. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ya Raja. By the way, Chris, I got that grappling dummy you recommended. Should I fill it with sand or polyfill?
Brother Jordan, you can fill it with either rags or sand. I'd say avoid the sand, because as you start wrenching that thing around, you get sand all over the house. Just use like rags, or go to one of those cloth or material stores, like we have them here, like Hobby Lobby here, things like that. Sometimes you could buy some cheap material or just filler. Fill it with that. Fill it with material. Don't mess with the sand.
So Abu Malik, man, you got a topic we want to switch gears here real quick. You got a topic that's been kind of like burning you, man. You got to drop it, bro.
It's burning me because it's gotten to a point outside, even like online, and ironically, it's a topic that I tweeted about just before my stalkers got me banned from Twitter. Thank you. I can come back whenever I want and have more of a following than I did, by the way. But it's gotten to a point where I hear or see Dubai, like 5-6 times a day without fail. Any day. And it's ironic that it's strange to me that these people we see a lot of Westerners. Most of it's from people that, oh yeah, come out, I moved to Dubai, blah blah blah, mostly for probably tax purposes. So, and they keep pumping it up, and in turn there's all these Westerners that think of Dubai as this place that it's really not. I mean, I know it's a giant shopping mall, basically. It's basically a pocket of the West and the East. And I honestly, first of all, I don't understand the allure. Like, it's, you know what I mean?
I do. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't have I lack the vocabulary to say it, but it's like, I guess you want to call it degeneracy extra light. There's no degeneracy, but it's kind of like you still get your Western lifestyle without like all of the madness of like the rainbow stuff, people and like just the outright in your face, like just disgusting crime, this, that, the other.
But why do you think that is?
No, we know.
Yeah, but they might say as an excuse, like, oh yeah, well, I respect the culture, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Okay, thank you for respecting the culture, but by you moving here, it's the same as like a California Democrat going like, this place sucks, I'm gonna move to Texas or Florida, but they're still gonna vote the same. These guys aren't reverting when they move to Dubai.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that they're a part of the problem just by being there and not reverting.
Sort of like locusts, huh? Just go somewhere, lay waste, and keep moving.
So one of my last tweets was that anybody living or taking advantage of living in a Muslim country should be paying a jizya. I don't think that's ever been abrogated, has it? It's more of the government's been they kind of just fused with the Western taxes, and okay, that's our thing. But like, if you're moving there, especially for tax purposes, what in turn are you providing to them?
Yeah,
because it sounds like it's completely totally one-way relationship.
I think it is, to be honest. I mean, here's the thing. I think this whole you see this with like, I don't really keep up with the African American community, but you see the passport bro movement. Everybody's trying to go somewhere else and find the stuff that they ruined at home, and then they want to harken back to the good old days of classicness and this, that, the other, and non-hoes, even though you spent your entire time learning games so that you can create hoes where you were, and then you want to go somewhere else and then get hoes. It's like, so they're like, yeah, it's the locust mentality. It's like, oh, it's terrible here. There's nothing good here anymore. I'm gonna go over here and do the same thing all over again.
Yeah, and if you look at Dubai as opposed to Sharjah, how far away are they? Like 20 minutes, 30 minutes?
Yeah.
But then in Dubai, you've got the alcohol, you've got the prostitution, this and that. Why do you think that is? It's because the West has imported en masse all of this stuff. You see girls, IG girls wearing bikinis on yachts there. Oh, I want to get to Dubai. I want a 2-week vacation in Dubai. Why? Go somewhere else. There's plenty of non-Muslim countries that will provide you the same tax benefits. I mean, if it were up to me, I'd say we don't want you here. Not welcome, but obviously it's not up to me.
Indeed, man. Indeed. Let me ask you though: is this? I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. So let me try and do it because I agree with you. So now I'm trying to take the other side, the other side of the coin. Is it a bad thing? I mean, when we really look at it, the proliferation of Islam is like insane right now. It's unbelievable how fast and how rapid Islam is spreading. And here's the thing. It's like people will try and like there's some guy on Twitter, I can't remember his name. He's always trying to throw Islam under the bus, and all he's doing is spreading like, Islam for us. He's like doing the work for us. So is it a bad thing? When people go there and they're like, hey, you know what, this society is like this, there's less crime, there's less drugs, or there is no crime. I mean, there is crime, or there's no drugs, there's no like this, there's no open drunkenness, the debauchery is like extra low, and people like become interested and curious in it, and then they start asking those questions. Why is that? And then the answer obviously is, well, there's a Muslim country. Is it a bad thing?
No, that's not a bad thing, but I don't think these people move there with any intention of reverting or anything.
That's my son. Hold on. What's up, buddy?
Dubai really only has a degeneracy in certain establishments in certain neighborhoods. Overall, very conservative. But yeah, the other Emirates are more family-oriented, Sharjah and others. You never hear anybody talking about Abu Dhabi. I think they have a lot of Westerners that live there. I don't know why it's Dubai all of a sudden.
Because Abu Dhabi is where rich people go. Abu Dhabi is extra expensive.
Real rich people go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what do Eat say here? He said Dubai really only has degeneracy in certain establishments in certain neighborhoods. It's overall very conservative, but yeah, the other Emirates are more family oriented, Sharjah and others. Yes, this is correct. You bring an interesting point there.
The fact that they feel the need to provide that to like that's just wrong anyway. How about
Chris, have you ever been out
to
there
the real Middle East? Move to Iraq. How about that? See if you get any from there. I'm about to go here next month, about a month from now.
No, I haven't, Brother Craig, but Brother Mitchell and I have talked about making Hijra quite a bit, and Dubai is not on the list of spots because it's like, we're trying to get away from all that. And it's not that like some people may say, oh, is it the temptation? Or it's like, no, we live in America. Everything's here if we wanted it. And Brother Mitchell in Mexico, it's like, it's all at your fingertips if you want it. It's just, man, the desire to make hijras is to live closer to the deen and to be surrounded by people that are similar. Because like you said, Brother Craig, you avoid the streets completely. And there's a reason why. And, I was told when you revert, I already didn't like the society here as a whole, just because of how, woke it is and everything. And a lot of my friends said, man, wait till you, now that you've become a Muslim, you're going to really have less patience. And, the one thing that's keeping me solid is Brother Mitchell told me there's reward in staying somewhere that is not Islamic based, but still staying close to the deen and avoiding that, and maybe being a pillar of example and a pillar of good example for people that are willing to possibly revert and things like that. I know a lot of my friends that are not Muslim are now interested since I've become Muslim. And, yeah, Dubai's not on the list because it's basically becoming like, I'm afraid it'll become like Saudi Arabia, where now they're doing, trans shows and things like that.
And concerts
right outside there. What?
Yeah, they didn't have like a trans concert or something like that in Saudi Arabia.
They had a concert.
They had a few like famous stars. I can't remember who, but man, trans, that's pretty bad.
Like that. And then they were talking about doing one right outside of Mecca. It's like, why? Why would you do that?
We know why.
So have your somewhere else.
Trying to encroach on the Muslim world because we're the last wall that's going to say no. That's why the Christians aren't going to say no. The Jews are behind it. They're trying to corrupt everybody for control. We all know this. This has been known since 1905. What was it that the Russian guy was all about it and saying, man, this is a plan of control. It's a very smart plan. You can't knock their wisdom and their cleverness doing something like this. Hollywood, the internet, all that kind of stuff. So The main thing we can do, whether we live in a Muslim nation or not, is raise our children to be aware of it. I know Brother Mitchell will do this. I do it with my son now. If something's on the TV, you see what they try to do there. We have another friend who does the same. Gotta instill it in the children and make sure that they're aware of it. But it's really bad, man. They're really going after the kids in a terrible way now. I saw today in California, they're allowing now the trans kids going into the bathrooms with the girls. You imagine being a young girl and going to the bathroom and thinking, who's going to walk in behind me? Terrible.
Yeah.
It's insanity.
I homeschool.
So, point being is we don't want that in the Middle East. So leave.
Ismail said, Ismail was like, don't say the J word. I was just thinking I was going to crack a joke and say, well, there goes the monetization. This video ain't getting monetized. Yeah. Crazy stuff. Yeah, I don't know what to say on that. I wanted to comment on Abuamerican, your comment about jizya, and it's very interesting because this is a talking point of like a lot of the anti-Islam, anti-Muslim guys. They're always talking about, if we lived in in a Muslim country, as non-Muslims, they force us to pay jizya and this, that, the other, and they don't pay jizya. They go there, they make tax-free money, they have a nice life, nobody harasses them. There's actually churches and whatnot there now. They can go and they say, oh, well, you don't see any churches in the Middle East. Now there's churches in the Middle East, and all this type of stuff. So all the complaints.
It's funny because you'll see those same types of people that visit or move to Dubai talk about how, oh, I'm anti-immigrant. Oh, Europe's being flooded. America's being flooded with Islam, blah, blah, blah. And they complain about it and then move to a Muslim country.
Yeah.
And then it's this, you can tie that into with it. They all have the same attitude of like preachers. Chris had one the other day saying, oh, he kept quoting the Bible, like trying to hold us to biblical standards when obviously don't really care what it says, and refusing to be held to Quranic standards. So if you're making an argument with one of us, then you need to be open to be held to Quranic standards. It's gotten ridiculous, and these are the same people that will go on vacation in those types of places. They won't go on vacation to Iraq, but they will go to Dubai. Why? Because they know it's safe there.
Yeah.
So what is the jizya? A protection tax.
Yeah.
So you're going there, you're denigrating the culture, you're not providing anything of value. And you're just taking advantage of the rules that are in place there.
Benefiting from it.
Man.
Exploiting almost.
Yeah. It's very interesting that you'd say you'd have a conversation with someone who'd want you to be held to biblical standards, but he comes from an entire society and culture that doesn't hold themselves to biblical standards. It's a bit weird. It's like maybe you should.
Yeah, and those types of people, they'll talk about, oh, America was founded on Judeo-Christian values. Okay, if I took the Sharia and didn't change anything and said this is Judeo-Christian law, they'd accept it with open arms. But the fact that it's Sharia, oh no, we don't want that.
I always wonder about that though when they say that Christian Judeo, values and whatnot. I'm kind of like how what I don't really see it when I look at the history of the nation. It's my home country, America. I got love for it to the degree that you can, but it's kind of like, are we delusional here? Have you not seen how brutal we were to so many different people as a nation? So are you telling me that all this brutality that we've gone through, both nationally, internationally, from how we treated the Indians to African Americans, international invasions and interventions, killing, rulers around the world because they don't want to follow our economic system? Is that Christian Judeo, values? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I'm not crapping on America in that sense, it's just, a country full of bad guys and whatever else, and, down with the whitey and all that type of stuff. I'm not into all that stuff. But I'm like, what are we talking about when we say these things? Because if you establish something on something, it tends to maintain. most of the Muslim world is established upon the Book and the Sunnah. That has been maintained because its foundation is the Book and the Sunnah. So if the foundation of this nation was Christian Judeo values, where is it now? We see this in Eastern Europe. They're founded on Orthodox Christian ideology, and to this day, it still stands. What has happened here then? And now they're going to blame
too, because if you're a ortho bro or whatever you want to call them, why not move to Eastern Europe?
Yeah,
or Greece.
Exactly. Good point. Why aren't guys flooding out to, like, I don't know, what is a highly Orthodox Georgia,
Georgia, any of those places.
Yeah, Armenia or something,
Yeah.
I think it's because the people tend to be more skeptical of foreigners probably in Eastern Europe.
Yeah, but that sounds a bit. Well, that's a whole different conversation. Don't get me started on that conversation because somehow I ran into, like, what are they called? I'll call it white supremacist Twitter. that quarter is a trip, bro. I get a good laugh out of it. I'm not even trying to get out of it anymore. I'm just like, let's deep dive into this madness. So it just, if I bring that whole conversation into it, which we probably don't want to do, it just doesn't make any sense. That they would not go to those countries, complain that we're coming to these countries, and then go to Dubai. And it's like, bro, what? Yeah. And then here's the thing. They'll go to Dubai, stay in Dubai, and nobody gives them a hard time about being a white person or this person or a black person or whatever else being Dubai. Just come there, don't make any trouble, do your job, go home, But then you come out here and you do the same thing and everybody's all over you about it. So what's superior? I don't see how it's and I don't want to get into this, like, culture scale balance type of thing. It's not what I'm into, but it's just kind of like, why are you there?
Yeah, most importantly, what you just said is go there, do your thing, whatever, and go home. That's the part that people are missing. Go, leave.
Indeed. Hey, guys, we're 27 minutes in. I'm looking out the window here. I'm just looking. I can see the sun has gone below the horizon now. I need to make Salatul Maghrib. Can I leave you guys here for a minute while I go pray?
Absolutely.
Of course.
Okay, I'm going to leave you guys to it. I'll be right back, inshallah. I'm going to go bust out the salah.
Yeah,
exactly like we were saying recently, it's they refuse, a lot of guys, especially the Christian bros, guys, a lot of people in America, they refuse to recognize that America has become like a crusade of, like, liberal democracy. It's like, oh, they don't allow gay marriage in that nation. Oh, next thing you know, what are they going to do? Go invade it? It's we look at a lot of the Christian guys in America as woke liberals, or just softened by woke liberalism. And they're not standing behind any family values. They're not putting their foot down. So how can we respect that movement? How can we say, ideologically, as far as the Bible itself and things like that, if they were to follow those rules, like you said, we'd have a little more, respect for it. They don't. There's no strength behind it.
And if they don't have respect for their own religion, then why would they have respect for somebody else's? Because the biggest argument that they're going to come out with is, well, I may not be Muslim, but I live in Dubai and I respect the culture and all that. Do you really? Why? Then why are you there?
Exactly. They want to live in a place where there's low crime and everything's clean and the values are good. And you know what? They probably subconsciously, I suspect that when they, go there and behind the scenes commit some debauchery, I bet it's something they're getting off on. I really believe this. Oh, you're not allowed to do this here, so it's more taboo. Yeah. So if I bring this model in from Miami, I'm really getting off, and then I can, like, leave and take a deep breath. Now I'm in a whole.
I actually had this conversation with somebody else about not understanding the allure of it. And he was like, I don't get it. And I was like, because squiggly writing on buildings, me in Middle East, squiggly writing.
Yeah.
So everybody, what do? They take pictures of the Burj next to the Burj Khalifa where it's all lit up in Arabic, blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
There's beaches elsewhere.
It's true.
Yeah. There's tall buildings elsewhere.
Yeah. I really think they like it because the crime is low. They don't have to worry about crime. They don't have to worry about theft. And like I
Worry
said,
about anything.
they get to be bad in a holy place.
But even though they say that oh yeah, I respect it and everything, they don't realize that they might not be doing it on purpose, but they're importing all that nonsense.
They are on a flight
Especially when you
first
see
class with 4 pieces of luggage.
yeah. Yeah, so by them importing all that, and maybe it's not on an individual scale, but when you scale it up to, I'm going to look that up actually. How many foreigners live there as of 2023? Let's see. Let's find out right now. How many foreigners live in skyscrapers are pointless societal flexes? Yes, they are, and end times correct.
That's why we found Oman attractive. I think they had no. Weren't you telling me there was no skyscrapers? And it may have been
Yeah,
Brother Corey telling me that.
they won't build up past a certain number of floors or something.
It's awesome.
Population density, expat in UAE 8.84 million. Dubai being almost half of that.
Wow.
3.43. But then you got to think about expats. Like there's a lot of people from like Bangladesh and stuff that live there. So I'm wondering if I could get numbers on like non-Muslim, like Westerners, I guess.
Yeah.
Like Americans, maybe. It says 510,000 Westerners live in the UAE. Yeah, there's a lot of people from the East. I mean, I saw it in Iraq. I saw a bunch of people from Africa, India, Bangladesh, stuff like that, Pakistan. It's really like a crossroads of the world.
I think what you're most irritated by is the fact that if the West is allowed to continue with the whole, passport bro thing, they're going to try to turn Abu Dhabi into another Miami.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that.
And then what's the domino effect of that, And then when does it reach a place where the Muslims put their foot down and say no? And then at some point, the media is going to say, "Oh, look what happened." Somebody went there and was either attacked or not allowed in for XYZ reason, and that's a safe place.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it's safe is a big thing because I don't hear any of them talking about how they're going to move to Baghdad. Which I'll be there in 6 weeks or so.
Actually pretty safe now, right? So
yeah, and expensive. They built everything back up, so it's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I've never felt in danger. I've been to Iraq twice. I've never felt in danger.
I think just people have that idea left over from there was a war there and it's a war zone. It's like it's no longer a war zone.
Yeah. I mean, I like it there personally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's got a lot to offer, to be honest, and it's pretty easy too, like living in getting your residency and all that, and cheap.
Sure.
There's not a lot of laws, but people
values.
It's more like tribal type stuff,
Sure. No, I think that misconception comes from a lot of people believing that the whole we're fighting for our freedoms kind of thing in Iraq. It's like the average Iraqi who's trying to provide for his 4 or 5 children wasn't planning on coming to America to force you to convert to Islam. And if we hadn't gone over there, so people have this concept, but that's the media, like, just like I said, even I was a victim to it. I was somebody who always questioned the media, but they do a really good job with Islam. They really do. They hide a lot of the stuff that's attractive to most people that have any level of family value or decency. You realize, wow, this is a beautiful religion. But if you watch the news, you think that all the Muslims, if we open the floodgates, they would come to America and try to, like, by the sword, make everybody convert.
That's a parroting point for the right. Like, Republicans are always fear mongering about that, and the Democrats don't do anything to stop it. So there's that concept. What do they call it? Is it Takia, where you can
Takia,
where they talk about that all the time. I've never once heard anybody talk about that. like any Muslims talk about
Neither
that.
have I.
Taqiyya, where you can like, what is it? You can deceive somebody, or I don't even know what it is.
It's just
It's
a way for
apparently a Shia concept. Apparently,
Shia. Okay, that explains a lot.
that's what I
yeah.
heard. There is a precedence in the Sunnah for a degree of deception, but it's when your life is in danger.
Yeah, if somebody's
Like
trying to
when,
kill you for being a
if someone's
Muslim.
threatening your life, leave
Yeah.
Islam or die, you're allowed to lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like if just a general lie, like because it's convenient, no, that's not permissible that I know of.
No, it's
Wasn't
not.
it to keep something you could lie to not hurt your wife's feelings? You can lie in war and to keep peace between people. Aren't those the 3 times we're allowed to
Yeah,
lie?
those are also like some. Yeah, there's a hadith about that also. So I think it was reconciliation between friends and a husband and wife.
Yes.
Like, oh, he said you're beautiful, and he didn't say it.
Sure.
And then war and something else. That is, also that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, I often think it's a lot of this stuff with the media just ties to military industrial complex. They know the Muslim world is forbidden to live in humiliation. So if you go start a problem over there, well, there's always going to be people who are going to fight back, and it's just a way for politics to get a agenda across, and people fall for it. I mean, I had a guy write me. I sent it to Mitchell. Was it yesterday? 9/11, you traitor, and he misspelled traitor as if I was like trading TRADER. And then I like 9/11. It's like I can't believe that people still hold on to these misconceptions that Muslims are just trying to spread the religion by force.
Yeah, since when?
Yeah, exactly.
Like I'm holding a sword to your neck and
yeah, that's what they imagine. That's what
which is forbidden as well. I'm pretty sure, isn't it?
Exactly. That's what I said.
That throws off an intention.
I mean,
anyway.
It's in what is it? Hold on, let me think. What is it in? La ikra fi din. There's no compulsion within a religion. Ayatul Kursi. Right after Ayatul Kursi, the next line is La ikra fi din. There's no compulsion within a religion. Meaning you can't, force somebody into something. Like you gonna force someone to believe. You can't,
Oh yeah, we can try to persuade who we want, but Allah wills who He wants. Brother Craig, how was it for you? I know you became a Muslim in like '98. I heard, and then how was that for you during like the early 2000s? Like relatively new Muslim, and then all that happened, and there's all this hate against Muslims, and we're all terrorists all of a sudden, and that.
It was crazy. I was at Ramstein Air Force Base when that happened. And I remember I was sitting at my desk, and one of my coworkers came by and she said, an airplane flew into the World Trade Center. And I was like, really? I said, man, that's wild. I said, what, the altimeter was broken? What happened? I was like, do they know? I said, what, they weren't looking out the window? I said, how do you fly into the World Trade Center? It's a pretty big building. She just looked at me with her mouth like wide open. I had no idea there was like, a terrorist attack. And then everybody started acting all crazy. I said, okay, let me go on the internet. And at the time, internet was like, not like we have now. And it was such like just near frozen. Like the lag was so bad. And then I got the idea. I was like, oh, there's a terrorist attack. And then we started getting announcements that like, there'd be a 24-hour to 48-hour, like, free for all for military members to not get in trouble if they got into fights or whatever else. It was crazy. And I'm walking around with like Thal Gutra on base, Wow. I'm like, okay. I'm like, this is going to be interesting. And you end up in pretty hostile situations, not like anything direct confrontational. That's not how it works in the military, of course. I mean, direct confrontational in terms of like violence, but there was like a lot of like verbal sparring and like, passive aggressiveness, sometimes direct aggressiveness in terms of how you treat it. But I mean, a lot of people might not know this. The United States military has a very, very large Muslim contingent, always has. There are a lot of Muslims in the United States military. Now, a lot of people will debate as to whether or not you're allowed to serve in the military. It's come to my attention recently that you shouldn't as a Muslim. But the simple fact of the matter is it happens, and people do it. And so, they had to, what do you say? They had to handle it as like a situation in terms of like, we can't let things get out of control. And at one point, things kind of did get out of control because then you had some whack job Muslims who were going around attacking people on military bases and whatnot, and this type of stuff. But in general, it wasn't really that bad.
Okay.
There was a lot of people that became Muslim during that time.
Wow.
Like, they said something along the lines of 250,000 U.S. troops accepted Islam while stationed at Saudi Arabia, with 60% of those reverts being women.
Wow. What do you think? What do you think that is? Besides just, of course, like the call to Islam that we all had, or that feeling inside. What do you think it was that brought it to people's attention during that time? There's so much negative media attention on Islam back then.
If you, unlike the internet, unlike Twitter, Muslims in person, and I think you said this yourself, they're very, very nice people in person.
Oh, yeah.
And so one of the biggest things is like the dawah of personality. And I was talking about this today on a show I did with the sister. She had me on, and I was just saying, like, that was one of the things that like was really appealing to me in terms of like when I became Muslim, is the dawah of character, of good manners and personality. And so I think that probably played a big role. I wasn't deployed, but a lot of my friends were, and they came back as Muslims. And I have to say it's probably good manners. The adab, the manners of the Muslims in person it's impeccable. I mean, I've been to 51 countries. I've been to Oman, I've been to Kuwait, I've been to UAE, I've been to Qatar, I've been to Saudi, I've been everywhere. And every single time I go somewhere, there's some random Arab dude that's like, yo, come to my farm, drink camel's milk, whatever. So we sitting out in the desert 3:00 in the morning with some absolute stranger. I never do that out here in the West. I probably end up buried or eaten or in someone's fridge, And these guys like, you out here drinking and riding horses and camels in the middle of the desert. Just how do you not fall in love with that?
Sure.
And that just comes to me. That's just nothing does that except for Islam.
Yeah, the hospitality I heard is like nowhere else in the world. A good friend of mine, Muslim friend of mine, was like, if you went to Iraq and said to somebody, I need a place to stay and a place, I need food, they'd probably let you stay for 3-4 days and wouldn't even ask you any questions about it.
Oh, I've had people. I'll ask them, yo, what type of watch is that? And they'll take it off and give it to me. I'll have to force it back.
Yeah,
into their hand.
Exactly.
I even had a friend. He goes, hey, I'm gonna stay here at this tea shop. Take my car. I'll meet you later. And he was always giving stuff away. So I decided to mess with him a little bit and call him, hey, thanks for giving me your car. I really appreciate you giving me your car as a gift. And he's like, yes, you can take. I will get a new car. I'm like, dude, I'm not taking your car. Like, here's your keys back. What's some Amon?
They are like that. Oops.
Will they see this chat at all? Yes, we see this chat. What's the question? Yeah.
He says he asked the question, but I don't see it. He said he even donated. I don't see it anywhere. All I see is the one from Gordo, because they actually updated StreamYard, so you never miss the super chats anymore. So I don't see his question. If you see it, let me know, and I'll oh yeah, I haven't posted it yet. That's why he hadn't seen it. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, like if you compliment something, they'll try and give it to you. I'm starting to think that's probably not as good as we think it is. It's probably like, this dude just put evil eye on this thing. It's yours now. You put acid on it. It's like, here, take it.
I had that same friend. He goes, he was always had AirPods in on the phone constantly. And one day he had the cord headphones, and like he's on him so much. Even I was like, why? Where's his AirPods? He goes, oh, he gave them away. It's like his third pair he gave away. I'm like, why? Because somebody said they liked them. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, it's special, man. It's special. I mean, I can't tell you in my travels, the place that I've been treated the best, the places I've been treated the best has always been in the Middle East, by far. And I've been all across Europe, Africa, Middle East, and it's just nobody treats you better than them. But I'm not going to lie. For me, I find it also difficult to live there. It's like it's a wonderful place to visit, but I found it difficult to live there, because, and I was talking about this to the sister also, and I'm not really opposed to living there again, but it's like there are cultural bridges, cultural gaps that can't be bridged by Islam, sometimes. And so, that was one of my things, but I love it there, man. It's excellent dawah.
What kept you from what made it difficult?
just like literally culture. Like, so there's specifics to their culture that are not found in Islam, especially
Mhm.
along the lines of asabiya wa unduriya, you know, and you can't bridge Islam with that. You know, there's no, it's like there's no precedence for those behaviors culturally. I mean, Islamically in their culture. So it's like, well, asabiya, tribalism and whatnot. You know, I
Mhm.
mean, it's spoken about in the Sunnah that the people won't give it up, but it's also a blameworthy attribute. And it's like, so when you start dealing with that type of stuff, you know,
Sure.
it's kind of like, you know, how do I
There's
fit in here with you at this point? You
like an
know?
outsider. I got you. I got you.
Yeah. And it's like
Sure.
there's no Islamic precedence for that, but it's like here we are right now. You're a Muslim, I'm Muslim, and we can't bridge our gap, and there's no way that should be the case. You know?
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So there's a lot to it. I definitely would say it's doable. Um, but I would say definitely have a community. When I started like really linking up with people, and we built like I guess you could say a subculture slash community of Western reverts in those countries, it was really great. Because what happens is you expand your circle to the point where it's like there's always those outliers within those countries as natives that you're going to link up with, you know. And so, okay, he's a local, he's got the same culture, but at the same time, he's like, yeah, this is kind of strange. And then, you know, you're all just hanging out based on Islam as opposed to anything else. Like, good example, I sat in the I stayed the night at Sheikh Rabi Ibn Hadi Hafizullah. I stayed at his house. The man would sit down, serve us food, eat food. With, you know, we slept in his majlis and everything. It didn't matter to him that we were like, you know, ajnabi, that we were foreigners. You know, so his understanding and practice of the religion, like, you know, transcended the culture.
Mhm.
Great place.
Which would honestly probably make it a lot easier to bring it back to the Dubai thing for these passport bros or whatever you call them moving there. At least look into it. Like, you're surrounded by it every day. How can you not be curious? How could you not look at it and say, I mean, we saw our brother Andrew Tate do that. He's like, this is outstanding, the way people treat each other, this and that. I mean, I predicted it like a year before. I was like, Andrew probably will at least one day. I'm not going to push him, whatever. And mashallah, he did. And because he appreciates the way things operate and how firm we are in our values. So if you can't appreciate that, then it's the type of thing where it's the same people saying, oh, these people should stay in their country and fix it instead of coming to ours and take advantage over it. Okay, the same applies to you.
What's funny is, if all of the people that they're complaining about, brown people, black people, Muslims, this one, that one, all went back to their country, the West would generally be still on the same downhill trajectory it's on right now.
And these right, all the people that are against it, like we've seen that in France recently, the
Oh
like
my.
Algerians or whoever whom the French tortured for decades, they get mad about something, and then there's neo-Nazis protecting like Jewish stores, and it's like, I don't know, it's just weird. I never thought I'd see that.
I said to that sister on her show today, I said, we live in strange times, man. We're seeing some weird stuff happening. I didn't see that. Holy smokes, that sounds crazy.
Yeah.
But
Like, you
you
would
know,
think with those types of people, they'd go, oh, they're doing our job for us and just leave it be. But
and inversely, the truth it's true also. So if everybody who wasn't Arab or Muslim or whatever else left the Middle East, nothing would change out there. It would still go on being a Muslim country that's still developing, still like good, whatever else. You know, it wouldn't be on a downhill trajectory all of a sudden. So the entire talking points are just the, you know, what's bringing people here, what's taking them over there. Nobody's really paying attention to the reality of what's going on. You know, I mean, the reality is, it's arguably, you know, I'm sure there's people who will disagree with me on this. It's arguably better in Muslim countries right now because of the way that the West is developing and the way it's going, and they know it, and they're going out there and they're chilling out and then commenting on whatever. All of a sudden, finding religion, finding Christianity while living amongst the Muslims in you know, in the comfort, safety, you know, of the Muslim world. I've seen it. I've seen it. People like who they have entire brands online. They never talked about Christianity. Then all of a sudden they're a super Christian living in Dubai, and I'm just like,
yeah,
dude, bro, make it make sense. Help me.
I don't get it either. I never will.
It's wild times, man. I don't even know if I can really make a clear and concise point with it. It's so crazy right now.
Yeah, and those are the same types of people that are all about save the West. It's like, okay, go save it.
They don't do anything. They don't put their foot down. It's, you know.
No, even in, like you see in Dearborn, Michigan, they love the Muslim community there because they're the only ones that go to these school board meetings and speak up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's the largest Muslim community in the U.S.
Yes.
Yeah,
and that's the only place where this crap isn't happening.
Yeah, that's what happens when you find that people have, like, you know, an investment that's long term. Which, when I say long term, we're talking the akhirah, the hereafter. It's like, so now we're worried about our children, the akhirah for them also. You're worried about the hereafter for them also. These people have so lost themselves, you know, in their beliefs and whatever else, that they can't make sense of that. You know, that doesn't make sense to them, that people are so fervent, is that the word? About like what is being absorbed or taught to their children and what's going on in the society around them. People have become so self-centered, you know, that they just want everything to work out, but they're not willing to go out there and actually make it happen. And you're not going to do that without like a strong set of values and beliefs to support you to do it. Capitalism isn't it. I mean, I'm a capitalist, but that's not going to be strong enough to like help you maintain an entire society. So, you know, what do? They go to a place like Dubai where you can find both capitalism and a sustained, you know, society that's on the climb, you know, that's on its ascent, not on its descent. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on which lens you look through it, but yeah.
Fair. Chris, we're talking about Hijra. You have any ideas? A place you're looking at?
I mean, we've talked. Brother Mitchell and I talked about it. Oman is one place. Morocco is another place. But honestly, you know, Dearborn is a place I think I may open a gym one day, because I actually have a lot of connections in the combat sports world that are coaches that are Muslims, and I think they'd like to go up there. A really good friend of mine's a great striker, and could definitely open up a gym up there. Anywhere, you know, there's plenty of Muslims, so I can, you know, mingle with my people. But you know, at the same time, I do have 2 children here that from previous marriage, and you know, I'm committed to being a good father, so I'd probably be back and forth, you know. And luckily, I'm in Houston, and there's a pretty big Muslim community here. We have over 200 masjids in Houston, so you know,
yeah,
it's
pretty decked out.
Oh yeah, and so you know, it's but absolutely, you know, Hijra, at least the dream for me, you know, this is talk about fitra alignment. Before I became Muslim, myself, Brother Mitchell, and a bunch of guys were sitting around. Brother Mitchell, remember this, and everybody brought up a conversation. You know, if you could do anything, like, what's your dream? Like, where do you want to end up? And everybody, you know, they wanted all the Rolls Royces and palaces and all this stuff. And I was like, you guys are gonna think I'm crazy, but I've always had this thing when I'm a kid where I just wanted to. When all is said and done, I feel like I've done well with my time here, and my kids are taken care of, all that. I was like, I just want to live on some land, and I want goats. And everybody was looking at me like, what is he talking? He's been drinking too much or something? And Brother Mitchell was like looking at me like, yeah, this is awesome. And I didn't get it at the time, but then there was a hadith about, you know, there'll be a time when the Muslims should retreat to the valleys and the mountains and with his flock. And when I read that, I got goosebumps, because I was like, man, that's something I always wanted to do. It was so attractive to me. It was like an extra exclamation of reassurance after becoming a Muslim. This was like within like a week of becoming a Muslim. I read that hadith. And so, you know, Hijra is definitely something in the future. But, you know, like I said, I have children. I have to raise them. I have to, you know, provide for them. Generational wealth is something that's important to me. You know, Brother Mitchell and I talked about out in the West a lot. There's all this whole, like, you know, when you're 18, son, you're on your own. He's laughing about that because it's like so backwards, you know. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, it's just, you know, and that's one beautiful thing about the Muslim community is the families are close knit. And, you know, just from the background I have culturally, my wife as well, you know, families are close knit. So You know, it's definitely
Iraq.
something that's to answer your question for sure. But if Allah keeps me in America, you know, hey, it's all bismillah for me. Wherever I'm at, I'm going to try to be the best Muslim I could be and be the best example I can be.
I'm trying to get Chris to move out to Iraq.
Oh, I definitely want to go out there. Definitely, I know I'd have a blast.
Yeah.
My longest childhood friend is Iraqi, and been my friend. He's
How is it there? I don't know what the stability is like out there. Is it stable right now? What's going on out there? It's like falling off the entire media map.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's doing so well.
We were talking about that when you stepped away, but a little bit. So I've got everything in Baghdad. It's an expensive city in Baghdad now. Like I guess because they've rebuilt everything.
Nice.
But yeah, I've got a friend of mine out there in the oil business and has offices in every major city there, and including Dubai too. That's the only foreign office, but the Iraqi offices, like in every city, like Erbil, Basra, Baghdad. He sent me videos of them, and they're pretty nice. So, yeah, I'm definitely checking out Baghdad next time I go there, and maybe Basra as well. But there's a couple other cities I want to hit. I want to hit Fallujah, Mosul, places like that. So, but we'll see. We'll see.
Uranium, man. They messed that place up, man. Be careful out there.
I mean, I like it. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why it's fallen off the map because there's nothing to really talk about, is there?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So we're at 57 minutes. I'm here with both my wives. We're at one house. I'm gonna have to take one of my wives back home. So, anybody got anything you guys want to drop? Actually, let me ask Chris. Chris, are you in the Syndicate? I actually haven't seen you in there. Are you in the Syndicate?
I don't believe. What's the group I'm in, Mitchell? I'm in your Masters of Delilah, but I'm not in the.
I don't think we've ever added you.
Yeah, I'd love to be.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, there. So there you go. Chris is going to be on our Syndicate Discord. So we're gonna get you set up, inshallah. Awesome. I didn't know you were the Masters of Delilah. Mashallah, man. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. I added him.
Yeah, I've been so busy, man. I haven't been active lately. Just trying to get life, together in a different way out here. Trying to streamline things. I'm actually, I don't really want to do it. I just general conversation now till we get to an hour. But I'm actually thinking about buying a house here in Germany because it's just like I don't like the half-hour drive between my wife's houses. And like trying to find two places right next to each other out here in this region is insane. So I might just buy a place and then just, I found a house that's got basically it's like two apartments. It's like two separate houses in one building, and so I don't know. I'm thinking about doing something crazy. I don't know. I can always resell it when I'm ready to get out of here.
Yeah.
We have a friend who does that. He's got two wives, right? He's got one in one place, like one upstairs, one downstairs, or they share the same family unit or something.
Yeah. I found a really nice place. It's just more money I really want to spend, but hey, we'll see. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to bounce out here, but let's see right here. Ismail, what does he say? Ismail says, I like the idea of having some land and animals. I live in Ohio and I want to live in a smaller but solid Muslim community centered around knowledge. Mashallah. Man, if you can find that in the West, everybody's looking for it, bro.
Dearborn, right? Hamtramck, Dearborn.
A lot of people don't like it, but I like Birmingham. Birmingham, United Kingdom. In the West, that's a pretty solid community. For knowledge. I roll with the brothers at Maktaba Salafia, and they've got a solid education plan there. A lot of people don't like them, but I'm telling you, I visited that community, and those brothers, they got a full, beautiful library, full shop, full of books, audios, everything. I mean, you look for it, they got it. It's like they really covered all the bases. It's probably one of the closest places that you can go to that's like Hijra in the West. Obviously, that doesn't exist, but you know what I'm saying.
Great lectures. Some of their SoundCloud.
It's amazing.
That is awesome. I learned so much.
Yeah, bro. I post their SoundClouds on my Twitter every once in a while because when I drive, these half-hour drives, that's what I'm doing. I'm listening. Wait, Gordo, you going to Birmingham 2 weeks? Gordo, come on, bro. You should have said something, man. you got to hit me up. I'll meet you there, bro. I can just fly. It's like €50 round trip, bro. It's like a hour flight for me. Come on, Manigas. Yo, you playing, bro. You tripping, man. So if you're out there, if you're seriously going, let me know, because I got to stop in London anyway. I got a daughter in London. I got to see her. I'll definitely come through. MashaAllah. Okay. So anybody got anything before we close out?
I don't think so.
Chris, you want to drop something?
Oh no, Brother Craig, I appreciate it. I'll come back anytime. Love talking to you guys. And I'm a new Muslim, but I'm seeking knowledge everywhere I can. So I'll definitely write you on Telegram, and I'm happy to be part of that syndicate.
Okay.
And any of the brothers have any questions or need to find a good gym to train at, write me on Telegram. I'm in the Masters of Delilah, C-Mango 08. If you need me to find a good quality gym for you, I can do that research for you. Any questions, anything like that, I'm always willing to help. I'm networked all around the world. If I can help, I will.
Barakallahu feek, ya akhi kareem. Oh, Malik, man, you got something, bro?
No, not really. Honestly, unless anybody wants to join me in Iraq in a month, let me know.
MashaAllah. Man, I'm bold, but I don't know about that bold. You tough one, bro. All right. Syndicate Discord, guys, just join up. Make sure you sign up. Don't be a lurker. Get in there, upgrade, join the conversation. We got too many of our brothers in there sitting on the sidelines like wallflowers at some high school dance. Get in there. Y'all scared, man. Get in there and start networking and linking with the brothers. Inshallah ta'ala, it's the easiest and the fastest way to contact us. We will, inshallah, maintain this schedule. I've been the worst on this. I told Abu Malik, it's like, man, it's my fault. I've been so busy and just doing this, that, the other. We're going to maintain this schedule. I don't care if I got to drive and do the show. We're going to be here every Saturday, inshallah, around this time. Barakallahu feekum. All right, everybody. Thanks for being on, Chris. Inshallah, we'll see you on Discord and Telegram. Abu Malik, you know how it is, man. We always holler at each other. So, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum salam. Take care.